In the last Bitcoin update video, it was trading at around this price level, like around $140,000. And in that video, I told you that what we're expecting the Bitcoin price to do is bounce off this 50-day moving average. And exactly as I predicted in that video, it's following the exact pattern that I described. In this video, I'm going to do some more technical analysis. We're going to go over the M2 global money supply. We're going to look at some on-chain metrics. We're going to look at the stock flow, and then we're going to compare some more M2 global money supply year-over-year growth. So we'll be going over a few different information in this video, and I'll give you my price target for the upcoming couple of months. I have a pretty good track record of forecasting the price, but Bitcoin is one of those assets that I do not trade. Bitcoin is one of those assets that you have to, if you care about financial security, if you care about your financial future, it's one of those assets that you should just dollar cost average into every single day. Whatever you can afford, even if you can just only afford $10 a day. The way I see it, so if you have conviction that Bitcoin will trade at $1 million, and that $1 million price point is not just a random number because it sounds good. There's a very specific reason why we believe that Bitcoin will be trading at $1 million. And I personally think $1 million will be the start. It will 10x from that. Once it hits $1 million and the world catches on and everyone starts saving in Bitcoin, it will 10x from that point. But $1 million price point is pretty much priced in. So if you have conviction that Bitcoin will be $1 million, saving, and it doesn't matter when it happens. It could happen in 3 years. It could happen in 10 years. That time doesn't matter because you're saving for the long term. So if you have that conviction, think of it as saving $10 right now as saving $100 towards your future. So if you can only afford to save $10 a day, which is like insignificant, like you probably spend $10 on like coffee or some other, BS every day that you don't even think about. So if you can save $10 a day, think of it as like saving $100 a day, which is $3,000 a month. 12 times 3 is 36,000 dollars a year. You're just saving away. Well, by only being able to save $10 a day, you're saving $36,000 a year. You're saving $36,000 a year towards your future. And if you don't believe me, if you go to my channel and click on shorts, and I made a few shorts comparing saving cash, S&P 500, gold, and Bitcoin, as you can see, like right here in the middle. So I tested it for various different metrics, and this is like pretty this is pretty accurate calculations. I used AI to like look at the charts and come up with the most accurate calculations. So like I proposed the question, like if you only invested $10 a day since 2021, if you only invested $1 a day since 2021, how much would you have in cash, S&P 500, gold, and Bitcoin? So if you go watch this, you can see the result for this one already. If you only saved $10 a day since 2020, you would have $20,000 in cash, $21,000 in silver, $24,000 in gold, and $120,000 in Bitcoin. And that's the power of just investing just a small amount. And I propose, answer me this question, all the gold bucks out there, how do you buy $10 worth of gold? Like whenever I did buy gold, like back when I was stupid, I didn't really understand Bitcoin. It was a pain to go to the pawn shop, and you can't just buy a small amount every day. You have to like, and the exchange fee was like huge. And when I did go to sell it, even though gold price was up, I think I took a loss. So, and it's not, you can't just like, if you're doing like side gigs and you have some extra cash and you want to like invest it into something solid, because if you're watching this video, if you're watching any Bitcoin content, I think by now you kind of understand that cash is trash. Your ability to purchase will go down over time. It's programmed into cash. Like your cash will buy less things over time. So if you're someone who's like doing side gigs and you want to like invest in something solid and you want to just hold on to your purchasing power, how do you just buy 10 or $20 worth of gold? Maybe I'm stupid, but please explain to me in the comment section. How do you just buy a small amount of like gold or silver? If I want to buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, I just go to Coinbase or like any of the other brokerages. I just buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, done. And I can like take it off the exchange, put it in my cold wallet. And that's a goal that you guys should implement. Again, I'll get into the technical analysis for the short term, but again, if you have conviction in Bitcoin long term, you know that it's going to $1 million. Okay, so let's get back to like how we know Bitcoin is going to $1 million. So at between $800,000 to $1 million, Bitcoin will be the market cap of what the market cap of gold is right now. That's how we get to the $1 million price point for Bitcoin. But we know that the digital version of anything is 10 times better than the analog version. You compare, for example, Blockbuster to Netflix. Netflix is like 10 to 20 times more valuable than Blockbuster ever was. And you can compare any digital version to analog because when it's digital, it's more accessible by more people. So once Bitcoin reaches that $1 million price point, it's going to blow gold out of the water and 10x from there to like $10 million. So, but forget about that for now. Like, for a lot of you, think about, oh, $10 million per Bitcoin is like, it's kind of like, even for me, it's kind of like crazy to think about, but $1 million is price tag. That's not hard to believe that, yeah, Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million and you should just, whatever you can every day. You don't have to take all your life saving, but $10, $20, $100 a week, whatever you can afford, you should be investing into your future. So let's get into the technical analysis. So as I showed you in the previous video, it's doing exactly what I said it would. It's bouncing off the 50-day moving average. It's testing this previous all-time high. And once it breaks this all-time high, the next price target will be pretty much the upper bound of this channel. So if you go to the weekly, I drew this channel and look, this channel is beautiful. This is the upper bound of the channel. It hit it twice. This is the lower bound of this channel. It hit it twice. And it's going to hit it a third time. So we could see a Bitcoin price of $140,000 maybe in the next coming months, especially once it breaks this previous all-time high, which is the price point that it's trying to break as of right now. But again, it kind of makes me sad to think because again, I implemented the strategy where, and you should too, like buy whatever you can of Bitcoin every single day. And right now I'm like thinking when I was at $114,000, I was really happy because I'm like, okay, I'm getting a discount. But now it's like getting more expensive. But you just gotta, if you know for a fact it's going to $1 million, like the difference between buying it at $100,000 or $140,000, just a rounding error. So, but again, it's nice to know like, okay, I'm getting a discount. So this is the technical is like pretty straightforward. This is what we can expect. If we take a look at the M2 global money supply, so the money supply is in pink and the Bitcoin price is in white. You see that it follows the M2 money supply pretty much, it trails it pretty much spot on. So here the M2 money supply drastically, it's trading up and Bitcoin is going to catch up. So that's another sign that Bitcoin price will rally up to what we see in the technical, like around like $140,000 by, you can say like in the next couple of months. And there's other things that's not even priced in yet, but Cynthia Lummis, the senator, is working on a Bitcoin reserve proposal. We know that this administration is very pro Bitcoin. So once all that falls into place, Bitcoin is just going to like print $10,000 candles like every single day. So that's also something very exciting to look forward to. But again, like you shouldn't try to trade it. Like Bitcoin is not one of those assets you should try to time and trade and take profit and try to get in at the bottom and sell at the top. It's one of those assets, it's going to $1 million. So just have that conviction. Listen to like Jack Mallers, listen to Michael Saylor. There's so many, just do whatever it takes for you to have the conviction that Bitcoin is going to $1 million. And once you have that conviction, everything else is a rounding error. Just save whatever you can every single day, every single week. And you will be very happy like in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You might have enough just saving a small amount, like $10 a day. In 5 years, you might have enough money to put a down payment on a house, and we're getting to this point where even right now, like whenever I need some like extra cash, I don't sell my Bitcoin. I use my Bitcoin as collateral to borrow cash for a very, very small manageable interest. I can just pay that back and remove my Bitcoin collateral. So again, in this video, I'm just trying to like convince you to, I'm giving you an update on the Bitcoin price, but mostly I just want to convince you that Bitcoin is going to $1 million and the best investment you can make is just buying small amount of Bitcoin every single day. Or if you have like cash stored on the side, again, like the thing with your cash is like you have noticed since COVID, like your cash is losing purchasing power. And if you guys want, I can do a whole video where it's very clear that since 1970, your cash has actually lost like 99% of its purchasing power. That sounds like pretty drastic, but it's like I can show you like multiple examples of like, just within the last 50 years, how much purchasing power your cash has lost. no matter what you do, you shouldn't just save cash. That's just a losing strategy. So if nothing else, go, I guess, buy some gold. But I can. There's so many examples. Like you could do this calculation yourself. Just go to Grok and ask it like, oh, if I invested $100 a week for the last 12 months, how much would I have in cash? How much would I have in S&P 500? How much would I have in gold? How much would I have in Bitcoin? And Bitcoin beats them every single time, no matter when you. That's the crazy thing. Even no matter when you start investing in Bitcoin, if you dollar cost average, that means if you just spend a small amount, uh, every week, every month, or every day, it evens out. So even if you accidentally started investing at the peak of Bitcoin and rode it all the way down, you're still going to beat these other assets. And for the verdicts in Bitcoin is the best asset that mankind has ever discovered. So, okay, now let's take a look at the stock to flow. So this is a very popular indicator to gauge where the Bitcoin price is going. And one thing I noticed, like you can see it too, the price has been below the trend line pretty much this entire cycle. So we have yet to see the price trade above this trend line. And when that does happen, and it will happen before, like, say, 2026, well, maybe, yeah, not before 2026, but or by 2026. So the stock to flow model has the Bitcoin price trading at around $350,000. Like, say, like between like 350 to $400,000, because you see here, like, even when it dips, it's always above this trend line right here. It's always above this trend line. This is like pretty much the first cycle that it's been pretty much below the trend line. It was above the trend line for like a little bit, but still currently below the trend line. So we would see the price trade above this trend line by 2026. So that will put the Bitcoin price between 350 to $400,000. This is some other metrics that are all positive signs for Bitcoin. Like you can see the number of new addresses on the Bitcoin network has been, it's going up. That means more people are purchasing Bitcoin, and these are like, small accounts. And another thing you have to know, like, not even like, I think only like 3 to 4 billion people are online, and that's not even half the world's population. There's so many people in the world still. I know it's crazy for us to think about that, because if you live in a first world country, you don't know anyone that doesn't have a phone. You don't know anyone that doesn't have access to the internet. But pretty much half the world still doesn't have access to the internet. But that gap is being filled really, really fast with programs like Starlink that are giving access to the internet to people like in remote areas. So slowly, within the next 10 years, when those people start getting access to internet and they learn about Bitcoin and they start buying small amount of Bitcoin again. The thing with Bitcoin, a lot of people who don't understand Bitcoin, you guys obviously don't. Like if you're watching this video, you 100% know exactly what a Satoshi is. And but a lot of people I talk to still think that you only have to buy, like, you could only buy one Bitcoin at a time. They don't understand that you could just literally go and buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. Or if you're in a very poor country, they could buy their $1 would be like a 10 cents to us. And they could do that. They could buy like 10 cents worth of Bitcoin. But for them, that would go a very, very long way, because their inflation is so much worse than the inflation that we're seeing here in the US. So you have to think, like, almost half the world is still not connected to the internet. And Starlink is giving access to all these people. And these people in remote areas are going to start purchasing very small amount of Bitcoin. The entire world will slowly, slowly get onto the Bitcoin network, and that will also drastically push the price up. Like imagine like a billion people buying just one, a couple of dollars worth of Bitcoin like every single day. And Bitcoin is the scarcest asset. So this is another thing that's insane about Bitcoin. Like this is I can't think of any other asset where as the demand goes up, the supply stays the same. If you think of like any other commodity, like food, anything else, as the demand goes up, the supply will meet demand eventually. But this is the only asset that as the demand goes up, and the demand will go up, like you see that happening in real time, the demand will go up more. It's not just like big companies like MicroStrategy buying up all the Bitcoin. It'll be like everyday people, very poor people around the world that'll be buying like small amount of Bitcoin, maybe like $1 of Bitcoin a day or something like very tiny, but for them it's meaningful. And the demand will continue to go up, and the supply, we can't do anything about the supply. The supply will be the same. So there will be a supply shock. And there's another thing I thought of, like no one talks about. So, there's like there's a multi-billionaire that's going to own Bitcoin in 20 years from now that's not even born yet. Do you understand what I mean by that? If if Bitcoin is the best asset in the world in, like I said, 20 years from now, and it's doing better than S&P 500 gold and every other asset we can think of, there are billionaires that are not even born yet that will own Bitcoin. So you have a head start on billionaires and multi-millionaires that are not even born yet that will become billionaire by, creating whatever product or services, similar to like how Mark Zuckerberg didn't become a billionaire until like 2008. Just to give me an example. There are billionaires that are not even born yet that will own Bitcoin in 20, 30 years, and they might be paying like $50 million for one Bitcoin. You have advantage over those people, those future billionaires. So it's a weird thing to think about, but just food for thought. Like that's just something that came to my mind. Like there there are extremely rich people in the future that will want Bitcoin, and they're not even born yet, and we all have a advantage over them. We can buy Bitcoin right now, and we might even get to a point in the future where you can't trade currency for Bitcoin. The only way you can get Bitcoin is through labor, by working for it or selling goods in exchange for satoshis. So if you sell a service, maybe your service is worth 50 sats, or if you sell a product, you'll be selling products for 10 or 20 sats. So there's like 100 million sats in a Bitcoin. So you can do the math. I know it's crazy to think about, but you can do the math of like what price point Bitcoin will be if, like, you're you're getting paid in sats, and like a meal costs like 5 sats. I'm not gonna tell you the price of Bitcoin, but you could like figure that out, what the price of Bitcoin would be if like a meal costs 5 sats in like 30 years from now. So I hope you enjoyed the technical analysis. It's kind of given. Honestly, the technical analysis just like the hook to like watch the video, and it's kind of like programmed in. Like I called it exactly in the previous video, and you can come back and see, yeah, it's going to touch this upper trend line. And if something, if we get announcement, oh yeah, the US is buying Bitcoin, then all this technical will just go out the window. It's just gonna it's gonna print like 10, $15,000 candles, and it's gonna just shoot to the moon. I don't want that to happen yet, because I still want to purchase as much Bitcoin as I can. So hopefully we don't get any crazy announcement and it just follows this trend line. We will see the price in the next coming months hit 144, and then it'll come down again, and it'll hit like, maybe it'll trade all the way down to 120. Everyone's going to think, oh, Bitcoin's, going to zero now, like people usually do. And it'll just follow this channel for, at least until 2026. And then we'll see if any crazy news comes out and what happens with the stock flow that will cause the Bitcoin price to trade above $350,000. So that's for the technical, but I just pretty much in this video wanted to give you different ideas I've been thinking about when it comes to Bitcoin. And tell me, I'm very curious. I respond to every single person that leaves a comment. I am Bitcoin again. I do a lot of stock analysis on this channel. If you go take a look at my channel, pretty much every single stock that I made a video on, it has traded up significantly from the time that I posted the video. So that's what I do on the channel. But when it comes to Bitcoin, there's nothing I believe in more than Bitcoin. So I would, if you guys enjoyed this video, I will make more Bitcoin content, maybe just do like a quick technical update and just go over some other news event. But it doesn't make sense to trade Bitcoin. My whole point of this video, this like long rant, is to convince you that Bitcoin is going to $1 million, and the best thing you can do for your finance is store away $5 a day. Buy only $5 a day worth of Bitcoin and try to do it for like a year, and you'll be very happy in 5, 10 years from now. And just, interact with me in the comment section. I will respond to every single person who comments. Tell me, I'm very curious. Do you guys own any Bitcoin? Why are you watching this video? I'm curious to know, like, if you're watching this video, is it because you have the same conviction that I do, or are you looking to trade and like make profit by trading it? Which I would advise against. Do not try to trade Bitcoin. Just store whatever money you have into Bitcoin and like forget about it, and try to buy as as much or as little as you can every single day. Again, like I know you still have to pay your bills and stuff, but you can afford $10 a day. You can afford $5 a day. You can like say $5 a day comes out to like $150 a month. So just do that, like, $100 or $150 a month. You could definitely afford that. Try to store that away into Bitcoin. And if you think you can, like you go open, just get DoorDash. And if you do like two DoorDash, that's like $10, $15. And you can figure out how to like come up with $5 or $10 every single day and just invest into Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, if you do that for like even a month and then forget about it, or do that for 3 months, take whatever Bitcoin you have, put it into a cold wallet, cold storage, and looking back when Bitcoin's at like $1 million, whether it happens this before the next election cycle or in 10 years from now, you'll look back and say, okay, this was like the best investment I've ever made. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was more of a rant to convince you that Bitcoin is going to $1 million than technical analysis, but I hope you enjoyed both. Please tell me what you thought about this video in the comment section. I will respond to every single person that leaves a comment, and please give this video a like. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. Let's see if that's possible. Let's see if we can do that. If you're watching, and again, if you're watching this video, like why don't you just leave a like? If you're especially if you made it this far, you watched nearly the whole video, just give it a like, leave a comment, say something. The comments also help. So if you made it this far in the video, please just leave a like, leave a comment, and if you want, subscribe. You don't have to subscribe because I do talk about stocks on this channel, so it's not just a purely Bitcoin channel, but Bitcoin is my favorite asset, and I will make Bitcoin videos every now and then. And if it gets traction, I'll make more Bitcoin videos, but it will be similar in style to this type of video where it's just like me ranting and trying to convince you that Bitcoin is going to $1 million. But I can go into more detail. I can compare Bitcoin to gold. I can compare Bitcoin to other assets. We can take a look at the hash rates. Yeah, so you can give me ideas on what you want to see, what topic you want me to cover regarding Bitcoin specifically. You can give me ideas in the comment section, and I'm pretty good at taking ideas from my comments and following up on them. So again, I hope you found this video enjoyable, and please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.